Hi there, I'm Leanna, one of your classmates in Principles of Self-Leadership with Professor Loft here at Wave Leadership College. Literally, I'm still here. But I'd like to spend 5 minutes of your time to discuss a book called Winning with People by John C. Maxwell. I think you guys know this pretty well. Anyway, we've been going over the book for a little while now. And this week's section I will be discussing is the investment question. Are we willing to invest in others? There are 5 principles listed. 1, the gardening principle, the 101% principle, the patience principle, the celebration principle, and the high road principle. Which one am I doing, you may ask? Well, today, I will try to get you to understand the basis of the first principle from the investment chapter, the gardening principle. All relationships need cultivation. Cultivation involves taking care of plants to help them grow well. Just like we need to allow most plants to have sunlight and water, the people that we love and value need specific care, just like agriculture. The question you and I must ask ourselves is, do I occasionally or continually cultivate my relationships? Remember, cultivate in this context means, how can I allow my relationship with someone be the best it can be and to grow closer to each other? So, I will ask you, how does your garden grow? You cannot neglect a relationship and expect it to grow. I think sometimes we fall into pride, thinking that the other person needs to help me grow instead of me helping them grow. And I just got off the phone with one of my friends doing that exact thing. So why aren't they trying to get to know me like I desperately want them to? Another situation in my life that's happening now is me being hurt that so-and-so is asking me all these questions about my life, not trying to get to know me, when how can I be the one complaining when I'm not even asking them about them? So then maybe you need to invest in them first to show you care, and they might care for you back. If you've had the pleasure of taking a class from Professor Holzer, he has spoken frequently that our only 2 commands of this life are to love God and love our neighbor. That's it. Yet, we tend to overcomplicate things and spend our time doing anything but that, thinking it will be better and more fulfilling, but it's not. If we can let go of our pride and do these 2 things, how much better our relationships would be. Think about your own relationships. How much effort do you give them? Do you treat them the same? Of course not. Every relationship is different and should be treated as such. Ads just like plants. Anyway, the book gives 3 categories relationships can be fit into. 1, some people come into our lives for a reason. 2, some people come into our lives for a season. And 3, some people come into our lives for a lifetime. Can you think of those relationships in your life? I can. Family is usually people for a lifetime. Some people are as simple as giving a homeless man my extra cash, or for that toxic friend that finally gave me the motivation to stand up to their lies and love myself. Yes. Reason, season, lifetime. Can you figure out from what I said? The nature and purpose of the relationship will determine the energy and time needed to cultivate it. There's cultivate again. Then, of course, I thought about marriage for the relationships that last a lifetime. And guess who else did? Maxwell. He goes on to say that marriage, like any long-term relationship, requires us to wade through a few things that are difficult, work for many things that are needed, wait on some things that take time, watch out for those things that can be harmful, and wave goodbye to personal things that are selfish. Remember? Pride. These are all aspects to cultivation. Just like marriage partners, our relationships that have both parties not intentionally cultivating will drift apart. So what are some ways to keep cultivating these important relationships? Maxwell gives 6 answers. 1, commitment. 2, communication. 3, friendship. 4, memories. 5, growth. 6, spoiling each other. Number 1 said commitment. Without commitment, the other 5 ways to keep cultivating important relationships are void. Deep commitment in a relationship is one of the greatest aspects to keeping it alive. Some questions the book and I urge you to ask yourself are, what are you going to do when trouble comes? How committed are you? Are you more dedicated to maintaining the relationship or to avoiding conflict? Your answer just might determine whether your relationships are lifelong or merely temporary. Number 2 is communication. You can't have a good relationship if you don't talk, and especially if you can't talk through conflict. Author Sidney J. Harris believes that it is impossible to learn anything important about anyone until we get him or her to disagree with us. It is only in contradiction that character is disclosed. Number 3 is friendship. Oh yes, you can definitely have bad relationships and good ones. We need friends. And it's not good to be alone. Have y'all seen Castaway with Tom Hanks? Wilson! Number 4 is memories. Thomas Paine states, what we obtain too cheaply, we esteem too little. It is dearness only that gives everything its value. The best way to reconnect with someone is through the memories you share. And trust me when I say you should really try to practice good memory keeping, because your best friend Candace is definitely going to be upset when you don't remember a super fun time y'all shared. Don't be like me. If you value someone, you should remember those fun times, even some trivial ones. Number 5 is growth. We can't have a principle about gardening without that word play. Benjamin Franklin said, promise may get friends, but it is performance that keeps them. This goes back to my personal definition of cultivation used in the context of this book. It is how you help grow the relationship you have with someone. If relationships don't continue down life side by side, they don't work. You have to find ways to keep things stimulating or interesting. Memories can only go so far. Make some new ones. Lastly is number 6, spoiling each other. Maxwell says, let your friends and family members know how much you care as often as you can. Like I said before, sometimes you have to be a friend to have a friend. People will be interested in you if you're interested in them. We cannot sustain good relationships if we don't cultivate them. And that's the gardening principle. Go eat some greens. With a friend, of course.